Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. We are at part 3 of the Alcatraz case, the famous escape from Alcatraz. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. The England brothers came from a large Southern family of 14 kids. They grew up on a farm. Their family is described as hardworking and honest people. Due to financial hardship, the England kids dropped out of school and started working with their parents and other siblings in the fields to cover living expenses. Between 1939 and 1945, the England family lived in Ruskin, Florida. This was during World War II. JW and Clarence were in their teens and considered Irish twins as they were born just a year apart. Every May, the England family would migrate to Michigan for cherry season. The England brothers would swim in Lake Michigan despite the icy and below freezing temperatures. For fun, the England brothers would build boats with things they'd find lying around. In 1951, Clarence and his brother Alfred were arrested for burglary. They were sentenced to 4 years in prison. 6 months into their sentence, they escaped while doing road construction on a road. The England brothers got into the routine of committing burglary, getting caught, going to prison, trying to escape, and the cycle would go on and on again. In January of 1958, JW, Clarence, and Alfred England got together after breaking out of prison. Since they were fugitives of the law, they could not get legal, legit jobs, so of course they resorted to what they knew they were good at, which was bank robbery, and planned their next one. Using a toy gun, Clarence and Alfred went into a bank in Columbia, Alabama, while JW waited outside in the getaway vehicle. They forced the bank manager to hand over $20,000. They were caught 5 days later hiding out with their wives and girlfriends in Ohio. As this was a federal crime, they got an armed robbery conviction. Clarence and Alfred were handed 40 years and JW got 35. JW's girlfriend is quoted saying that they were not bad guys, just dirt poor. The England brothers got sent to Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. However, after the facility reviewed their file and saw that they had the propensity to escape from prisons, Clarence was transferred to Leavenworth in Kansas. Eventually, JW was also sent there and was reunited with his brother. They tried to escape. JW was caught and he was sent to Alcatraz. A couple of months later, Clarence got in trouble for trying to pass a letter to another inmate and he was sent to Alcatraz as well. Luckily for the brothers, they were put in cells next to each other. Alan West was originally sent to a Florida prison, but after he escaped holding a warden hostage with a gun to his head, he was sent to Alcatraz in 1957. Alan was born in New York City but grew up in Georgia. As such, he developed a southern twang. Alan liked to steal cars and he had his knuckles tattooed that read "Hard Luck." He worked in maintenance while at Alcatraz. This allowed him to case out areas of the prison that needed a key. Alan West told Frank Morris about there being a fan motor that appeared to be missing from a ventilator shaft. They had cells next to each other in cell block B. Then they included the England brothers into their brainstorming. The England brothers, too, conveniently were next-door neighbors as well. They all took turns digging while another was on the lookout. Alan West talked to Bumpy Johnson, the leader of the black inmates in Alcatraz. By design, like I mentioned before, African Americans were segregated from the white prisoners, but after Alan West talked to him, Bumpy assured Alan that no one in his cell block would rat them out. Alan then talked to Clarence Carnes. Clarence had been at Alcatraz since 1945 when he was just 18. He was convicted of murder, kidnapping, and escaping from a county jail. Clarence worked in the library where he would take advantage and used it to hide banned items, and was allowed to roam free through the prison while delivering books and magazines. Clarence had tried to escape from Alcatraz 6 years earlier, in the known Battle of Alcatraz, things ended violently, and Clarence and 6 others went up to the guards, took their guns and keys. They shot 2 officers, injured 14. The Marines and Coast Guard were called in for help, and this added 99 years onto his sentence. Clarence worked with the men who escaped by getting them information from the library, hiding and transporting tools. Morris, West, J.W., and Clarence subscribed to a long list of magazines. They would cut out pages and used glue to layer the sheets and made cardboard out of it. They would dig with spoons, bowls, whatever they could get their hands on. They started to make faster progress when they hammered 3 spoon wedges onto the concrete using a heel of a shoe. To camouflage the noise, they would do most of the digging during music time. The inmates were allowed instruments they got to keep in their cell and play between dinner and lights out. Alan had an accordion that came with a big case he would store in front of the vent to hide his work. Frank ordered his own accordion around the same time. They hid the dust To hide the dust while digging, they put their coats on the floor to catch the evidence. They would scoop the rubble into their coat pockets and would dispose of it during recreation.